ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्।
शम्भुकुमारा गौरीतनया शम्भुकुमारा गौरीतनया शम्भुकुमारा गौरीतनया शम्भुकुमारा गौरीतनया गजानना सदया जय जय मानस भज रे गुरुचरणं मानस भज रे गुरुचरणं मानस भज रे गुरुचरणं मानस भज रे गुरुचरणं दुस्तर भवसागर तरणं दुस्तर भवसागर तरणं दुस्तर भवसागर तरणं दुस्तर भवसागर तरणं गुरु महाराज साईनाथ सद्गुरु जय जय,
साईनाथ सद्गुरु जय जय,
सत्य साईनाथ सद्गुरु जय जय,
साईनाथ सद्गुरु जय जय।
ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय, शिवाय नमः।
ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय, शिवाय नमो।
अरुणाचल शिव, अरुणाचल शिव, अरुणाचल शिव, अरुण शिव,
अरुणाचल शिव, अरुणाचल शिव, अरुणाचल शिव, अरुण शिव।
ओंकारं भव, ओंकारं भव, ओंकारं भव, ओम नमो बाबा।
ओंकारं भव, ओंकारं भव, ओंकारं भव, ओम नमो बाबा।
ओंकारं भव, ओंकारं भव, ओंकारं भव, ओम नमो बाबा।
ओंकारं भव, ओंकारं भव, ओंकारं भव, ओम नमो बाबा।
मानस भज रे गुरुचरणं,
मानस भज रे गुरुचरणं,
दुस्तर भव सागर तरणं,
दुस्तर भव सागर तरणं।
गुरु महाराज गुरु जय जय,
गुरु महाराज गुरु जय जय,
साईनाथ सद्गुरु जय जय,
साईनाथ सद्गुरु जय जय।
ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय, शिवाय नमः।
ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय, शिवाय नमो।
अरुणाचल शिव, अरुणाचल शिव, अरुणाचल शिव, अरुण शिव,
अरुणाचल शिव, अरुणाचल शिव, अरुणाचल शिव, अरुण शिव।
ओंकारं भव, ओंकारं भव, ओंकारं भव, ओम नमो बाबा।
ओंकारं भव, ओंकारं भव, ओंकारं भव, ओम नमो बाबा।
ओंकारं भव, ओंकारं भव, ओंकारं भव, ओम नमो बाबा।
ओंकारं भव, ओंकारं भव, ओंकारं भव, ओम नमो बाबा।
मानस भज रे गुरुचरणं, दुस्तर भव सागर तरणम्।
जय देवी दुर्गा गौरी शङ्करी पार्वती,
जय देवी दुर्गा गौरी शङ्करी पार्वती,
जय देवी दुर्गा गौरी शङ्करी पार्वती,
जय देवी दुर्गा गौरी शङ्करी पार्वती।
भुवन मोहिनी ललिता लक्ष्मी कलावती,
भुवन मोहिनी ललिता लक्ष्मी कलावती,
भुवन मोहिनी ललिता लक्ष्मी कलावती,
भुवन मोहिनी ललिता लक्ष्मी कलावती।
जय देवी दुर्गा गौरी शङ्करी पार्वती,
जय देवी दुर्गा गौरी शङ्करी पार्वती,
कमलकामिनी हरिनारायणि भगवती,
कमलकामिनी हरिनारायणि भगवती,
कमलकामिनी हरिनारायणि भगवती,
कमलकामिनी हरिनारायणि भगवती,
वेदमाता विद्यादायिनी भारती,
वेदमाता विद्यादायिनि भारती,
वेदमा सरस्वती
हंसवाहिनी वीणापाणि सरस्वती
हंसवाहिनी वीणापाणि सरस्वती
हंसवाहिनी वीणापाणि सरस्वती
जय देवी दुर्गा गौरी शङ्करी पार्वती
जय देवी दुर्गा गौरी शङ्करी पार्वती
भुवन मोहिनी ललिता लक्ष्मी कलावती
भुवन मोहिनी ललित लक्ष्मी कलावती
जय देवी दुर्गा गौरी शङ्करी पार्वती
जय देवी दुर्गा गौरी शङ्करी पार्वती
कमलकामिनी हरिनारायणि भगवती
कमलकामिनी हरिनारायणि भगवती
वेदमाता विद्यादायिनि भारती
वेदमाता विद्यादायिनि भारती
हंसवाहिनी वीणापाणि सरस्वती
हंसवाहिनी वीणापाणि सरस्वती
हंसवाहिनी वीणापाणि सरस्वती
हंसवाहिनी वीणापाणि सरस्वती
जय देवी दुर्गा गौरी शङ्करी पार्वती
राधा कृष्णा करुणा लोला राधे गोविंदा
राधा कृष्ण करुणा लोला राधे गोविंदा
राधा कृष्णा करुणा लोला राधे गोविंदा
राधा कृष्ण करुणा लोला राधे गोविंदा
राधे गोविंदा मुरली गोविंदा
राधे गोविंदा मुरली गोविंदा
राधे गोविंदा मुरली गोविंदा
राधे गोविंदा मुरली गोविंदा
राधे राधे गोविंदा मुरली गोविंदा
राधे राधे गोविंदा मुरली गोविंदा
राधे गोविंदा मुरली गोविंदा
राधे गोविंदा मुरली गोविंदा
राधा कृष्णा करुणा लोला राधे गोविंदा
राधा कृष्ण करुणा लोला राधे गोविंदा
राधे गोविंदा मुरली गोविंदा
राधे गोविंदा मुरली गोविंदा
राधे राधे गोविंदा मुरली गोविंदा
राधे राधे गोविंदा मुरली गोविंदा
राधे गोविंदा मुरली गोविंदा
राधे गोविंदा मुरली गोविंदा
राधा कृष्णा करुणा लोला राधे गोविंदा
परमानंद गोविंद गोपाल जय
परमानंद गोविंद गोपाल जय
परमानंद गोविंद गोपाल जय
परमानंद गोविंद गोपाल जय
साई नंदा मुकुंदा गोपाल जय
साई नंदा मुकुंदा गोपाल जय
साई नंदा मुकुंदा गोपाल जय
साई नंदा
परमानंद गोविंद गोपाल जय।
परमानंद गोविंद गोपाल जय।
साई नंदा मुकुंदा गोपाल जय।
साई नंदा मुकुंदा गोपाल जय।
साई कृष्णा हरे साई रामा हरे।
साई कृष्णा हरे साई रामा हरे।
जय केशव माधव मोहन हरे।
जय केशव माधव मोहन हरे।
परमानंद गोविंद गोपाल जय।
परमानंद गोविंद गोपाल जय।
मुखारविंदा गोपाल जय।
मुखारविंदा गोपाल जय।
सच्चिदानंद गोविंद गोपाल जय।
सच्चिदानंद गोविंद गोपाल जय।
साई नंदा मुकुंदा 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 गोपाल जय।
परमानंद गोविंद गोपाल जय।
हे साई जगन्नाथा, हे साई जगन्नाथा, हे साई जगन्नाथा,
हे साई जगन्नाथा, हे साई जगन्नाथा, हे साई जगन्नाथा,
हे साई जगन्नाथा, हे साई जगन्नाथा, हे साई जगन्नाथा,
हे साई जगन्नाथा, हे साई जगन्नाथा, हे साई जगन्नाथा।
दीनबन्धु साईनाथा, करुणा सिंधु जगन्नाथा,
दीनबन्धु साईनाथा, करुणा सिंधु जगन्नाथा,
दीनबन्धु साईनाथा, करुणा सिंधु जगन्नाथा,
दीनबन्धु साईनाथा, करुणा सिंधु जगन्नाथा।
हे साई जगन्नाथा, हे साई जगन्नाथा,
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 हे शिरडी जगन्नाथा, हे परति जगन्नाथा, हे साई जगन्नाथा,
हे शिरडी जगन्नाथा, हे परति जगन्नाथा, हे साई जगन्नाथा,
हे शिरडी जगन्नाथा, हे परति जगन्नाथा, हे साई जगन्नाथा,
हे शिरडी जगन्नाथा, हे परति जगन्नाथा, हे साई जगन्नाथा,
हे साई जगन्नाथा, हे साई जगन्नाथा, हे साई जगन्नाथा,
हे साई जगन्नाथा, हे साई जगन्नाथा, हे साई जगन्नाथा।
दीनबन्धु साईनाथा, करुणा सिंधु जगन्नाथा,
दीनबन्धु साईनाथा, करुणा सिंधु जगन्नाथा,
हे साई जगन्नाथा, हे साई जगन्नाथा,
हे साई जगन्नाथा, हे साई जगन्नाथा,
हे शिरडी जगन्नाथ हे परति जगन्नाथ हे साई जगन्नाथ
हे शिरडी जगन्नाथ हे परति जगन्नाथ हे साई जगन्नाथ
हे शिरडी जगन्नाथ हे परति जगन्नाथ हे साई जगन्नाथ
हे शिरडी जगन्नाथ हे परति जगन्नाथ हे साई जगन्नाथ
हे साई जगन्नाथ हे साई जगन्नाथ हे साई जगन्नाथ जय विजयी भव जय विजयी भव
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 भव भयनाशा हनुमन्ता
भव भयनाशा हनुमन्ता
भव भयनाशा हनुमन्ता
भव भयनाशा हनुमन्ता
पवन कुमारा पावन वीरा
कुमारा पावन वीरा
पवन कुमारा पावन वीरा
कुमारा पावन वीरा
अति बलवन्ता हनुमन्ता
अति बलवन्ता हनुमन्ता
जय अति बलवन्ता हनुमन्ता
जय अति बलवन्ता हनुमन्ता
अंजनी पुत्रा वीरांजनेया
अंजनी पुत्रा वीरांजनेया
अंजनी पुत्रा वीरांजनेया
अंजनी पुत्रा वीरांजनेया
निरंजना विजयी भवा
निरंजना विजयी भवा
निरंजना विजयी भवा
निरंजना विजयी भवा
बोलो निरंजना विजयी भवा
बोलो निरंजना विजयी भवा
जय विजयी भव जय विजयी भव
जय विजयी भव जय विजयी भव
भव भयनाशा हनुमन्ता
भव भयनाशा हनुमन्ता
पवन कुमारा पावन वीरा
कुमारा पावन वीरा
अति बलवन्ता हनुमन्ता
अति बलवन्ता हनुमन्ता
अंजनी पुत्रा वीरांजनेया
अंजनी पुत्रा वीरांजनेया
निरंजना विजयी भवा
निरंजना विजयी भवा
निरंजना विजयी भवा
निरंजना विजयी भवा
बोलो निरंजना विजयी भवा
बोलो निरंजना विजयी भवा
जय विजयी भव जय विजयी भव शिव महेश्वरा शिव महेश्वरा शिव महेश्वरा साईरा
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 शिव महेश्वरा शिव शंकरा शिव महादेवा साईरा
शिव महेश्वरा शिव शंकरा शिव महादेवा साईरा
शिव महेश्वरा शिव शंकरा शिव महादेवा साई राम।
शिव महेश्वरा शिव शंकरा शिव महादेवा साई राम।
कैलासवासा महादेवा
कैलासवासा महादेवा
कैलासवासा महादेवा
कैलासवासा महादेवा।
जगदीश्वर हर महादेवा
जगदीश्वर हर महादेवा
जगदीश्वर हर महादेवा
जगदीश्वर हर महादेवा।
त्रिभुवन पाल बाबा साई देवा
त्रिभुवन पाल बाबा साई देवा
त्रिभुवन पाल बाबा साई देवा
त्रिभुवन पाल बाबा साई देवा।
शिव महेश्वरा शिव महेश्वरा शिव महेश्वरा साई
शिव
राम।
महेश्वरा शिव महेश्वरा शिव महेश्वरा साई राम।
शिव महेश्वरा शिव शंकरा शिव महादेवा साई राम।
शिव महेश्वरा शिव शंकरा शिव महादेवा साई राम।
कैलासवासा महादेवा
कैलासवासा महादेवा
जगदीश्वर हर महादेवा
जगदीश्वर हर महादेवा।
त्रिभुवन पाल बाबा साई देवा
त्रिभुवन पाल बाबा साई देवा
त्रिभुवन पाल बाबा साई देवा
त्रिभुवन पाल बाबा साई देवा।
शिव महेश्वरा शिव महेश्वरा शिव महेश्वरा साई राम।
गोविंद हरे गोपाल हरे हे गोपी गोप बाला। 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 गोविंद हरे गोपाल हरे हे मुरली गान लोला। गोविंद हरे गोपाल हरे हे मुरली गान लोला। गोविंद हरे गोपाल हरे हे राधा रमण लोला। गोविंद हरे गोपाल हरे हे राधा रमण लोला। गोविंद हरे गोपाल हरे हे मुरली गान लोला। गोविंद हरे गोपाल हरे हे मुरली गान लोला। गोविंद हरे गोपाल हरे हे राधा रमण लोला। गोविंद हरे गोपाल हरे हे राधा रमण लोला। गोविंद हरे गोपाल हरे हे गोपी गोप बाला। गोविंद हरे गोपाल हरे हे गोपी गोप बाला। गोविंद हरे गोपाल हरे हे मुरली गान लोला। गोविंद हरे गोपाल हरे हे मुरली गान लोला। गोविंद हरे गोपाल हरे हे राधा रमण लोला।
Okay, because it is incredibly rare. Just think about it. How many of you are there in Kerala? How many thousands of college students are there? How many thousands of youth between the age groups of 18 and 35 are there? And why is it that you find yourself on this particular path? Okay, and therefore don't take it lightly, because you have started this most incredible journey of spiritual enlightenment very, very early in your life. And that is why Swami would love to spend his time, would invest so much of his energy and his time into guiding and mentoring the youth. So these are the two things. Remember that everything that you will be getting in your life here and hereafter will be all labels attached to something which is deeper. And the earlier we start this investigation, right, the more deeper we will be able to go with this investigation. This youth period is extremely important. Having said this, let me come to the next the word, which is, if that is spiritual life, then what is the fundamental of spiritual life? And I would like to take, and of course, you can take your own fundamentals from that discourse or from any other discourse. But I would like to take simply one statement that Swami makes in this discourse. I believe that if you just stick to that, it's an extremely practical, formula to have in your life. And believe me, if you are able to keep this one formula in your life, you will be successful in every field, whether it is your personal life, whether it is your professional life, whether it is your spiritual life. In all life, you will find yourself extremely successful if you just keep this one formula. And that formula is not that you're the Atman, which is definitely, yes, that's a fantastic formula. But a much simpler formula than that is what Swami gives in this particular discourse, and that is Yat Bhavam Tat Bhavati. It is not new. Most of you will know that. But let us try and, like most other, or literally all of Swami's discourses, or any scripture that you read, no? See, one of the things about these scriptures and about Swami's discourses is like they are like zip files. Okay, in computer language, most of you know, right? When you want to transfer big files, what do? You usually zip them. Or if you want to transfer many files, what do? You zip them, WinRAR, right? We use WinRAR, and then we are able to easily transfer that. And then eventually, what happens? The receiver has to unzip it. He has to extract all the files so that he is able to access the information that is there in the files. Similarly, all of these statements that Swami has given us, or the scriptures give us, they are like zip files. Okay. So what we need to do is, now these zip files are with us. Yat bhavam tad bhavati. Just 4 words. Okay. Yat bhavam tad bhavati. The simple meaning of it is, as you feel, so will become. Yad means as, bhavam, which means feelings or thoughts. Okay, so as are your feelings, tad, that way, bhavati, it will become, it will be so. Okay, so there is no ambiguity at all. What you feel, that is what will happen. That is what you will become. Okay, so Swami would often say, no, dust if you think, dust you will become. God if you think, God you will become. You are God, right? So the choice is left to us. See, Swami and all of the spiritual masters and all the scriptures, that's the beauty of the spiritual life, which is it empowers you entirely. It will tell you, see, you know what, you are God. Now you choose whether you want to live as God, or you want to live as a human being, or you want to live as an animal or a demon. So that extreme empowerment is given to us in spiritual life. Look at it, just think about it. In no other life so much empowerment is given to you. Okay, look at our professional lives. You have to act exactly as the organization tells you to act. In personal life, you have several duties that you are supposed to do. As an Indian citizen or as a Kerala citizen, you are supposed to follow all the rules and regulations of the government. But in spiritual life, there are no rules and regulations other than the rules and regulations you give to yourself. And that is why I bring it back. See, we joined this organization as a volunteer. Nobody forced us to join this organization, right? Why? We joined this organization because we believe that this will help me to attain that ultimate. That's why I'll keep coming back to that, right? We know, at least from a knowledge perspective, we understand that we are divine. Now we have to simply unravel that divinity within. Okay, so how do you unravel it? Yat bhavam tad bhavati. So now see, the word which has been used over there is bhavam. Okay, not yat vicharam tad bhavati. That is not what you think you become, what you feel you become. See, bhava is a more concentrated thought. See, thoughts will keep coming and going, right? But there will be certain concentrated thoughts, and those are what becomes our feelings, right? So, yat bhavam tad bhavati means what you intensely feel, that you will become. Okay. Now, Swami goes on to explain in this discourse, and I will just wrap it up with, because we can go on and on. Just this one topic of yat bhavam tad bhavati, we can do a 9 days satsang on it. But I will just take a few, indicators that Swami has given in this very discourse. Swami says this bhava, where does it reside? What is the source of this bhava? It is our mind, right? And if mind is the source of all our bhava, what is that which influences the mind? Right? So, are you getting the point? The output is bhava. The black box, or the intermediate, the machine from which the bhava is coming out, is the mind. Okay, so therefore there should be some inputs, right? If the output has to be bhava, there has to be some inputs to this mind. Okay, this black box. Okay, what are the inputs? Swami talks about 3 inputs, and we will look at those 3 inputs. First and foremost, Swami says, good company. To have good company is what will go into this black box called the mind. You tell me your company and I shall tell you what you are. See, Adi Shankara, whose statement you have taken from Bhajagovindam, satsangatve nisangatvam. But even before satsanga, okay, Shankara has directly started from satsangatve. That is assuming that you are in satsanga. From satsanga you go to nisanga. But what about those who have not even got into satsanga? For that, Swami would give a very beautiful 4-line formula. This is a very, very important and very handy formula for you to have. Anytime in your life, in any situation, whether it's your personal, professional situation, use this formula. What is that? Teja turjana samsargam, bhaja sadhu samagavam, kuru punya mahoratram, smara nitya anityatam. Okay, remember, this is a very simple formula. I'm sure many of you have heard it also. The first line is Tyaja Durjana Samsargam, which means give up bad company. And what does Swami mean by saying bad company? It's not that we are labeling somebody as a bad person. Oh, that person is not good, so let me not be in his company. That's not what Swami is saying. Anything which will take you away from attaining divinity is bad. Simple, very simple. Right? So think about it. If Facebook, if Twitter, if Instagram, if Snapchat, if I am going to be lost in that world, let me ask myself this question: is this taking me towards divinity or away from divinity? That is why I asked you this question upfront. Why did you join the organization? Keep asking yourself this question every single day. Right? Let it not happen that I joined the organization, my parents were devotees, and so I had no choice. I went to Balvikas, and then somebody told me he is God, and then I was forced to join the organization. Please, you are youth. Okay, you are empowered to take that decision for yourself. Ask yourself, why did you join this organization? And as you yourself established that upfront, the only purpose for joining this organization is the ultimate. Which means all the other activities that I do, if they are going to take me towards that, they are good activities, they are good company. Anything that takes me away from that is bad company. Let me give that up. Okay, very simple. So don't, if you go and say, so brother, can I do this? Or, you go to your elders, your Balvikas gurus, or you go to your mentors or you go to state president, or all of these people and say, sir, can I do this, can I do that? Just ask yourself this question. Nobody needs to tell you anything. You are entirely empowered to take that decision. What is that? Is this taking me towards divinity? Is this taking me away from divinity? So Tyaja Durjana Samsargam stands for everything that takes me away from divinity. Give it up. Then what I should do? If I give up everything means what? How can I just give up Facebook and all? Bhaja sadhu samagam. Next line. Tyaja Durjana Samsargam. Bhaja sadhu samagam. Which is all the time look for that which will take me towards divinity. See, all of these sessions, why are they being organized? It is only for that. Why do you need the organization? Only for that. Because when we are with like-minded people, it acts as a synergistic, it has a synergistic effect on all of us to actually move forward. On my own, I may be a little lazy, but when I see a couple of my friends also doing that, it propels me also, right? So bhaja sadhu samagam. Then what does it simply end over there? No. The next one is Kuru Punya Mahoratra. All day and night perform meritorious deeds. Kuru Punya. Punya means merit, right? Meritorious deeds. So keep doing that which is merit. And what is merit? Swami simply says, Parupakaraya Punyaya Papaya Parapidana. Helping others is Punya. Finished. That's it. So not thinking about myself, that is not thinking about this body and this mind, but continuously being focused in helping someone is merit. Those are meritorious deeds. Okay. And finally, most importantly, so now you will think that, oh, so whole my life I should keep running, I should keep going for sadhana, for satsangs, and I should keep helping others. Then what about me? Where am I in this whole process? And that is why it brings you back. Who are you? Which is the you that you are referring to? That is what comes in the last line, and that is Smara Nitya Anityata. Very beautiful statement. That is, Smara means contemplate, right? Smara Nitya Anityata, which means all the time contemplate on what is permanent, what is impermanent. Nitya means permanent, Anitya means impermanent. See how simple, right? So look at everything around us and say, is this permanent? Is this impermanent? If something is permanent, it will take me towards the divine. If it is impermanent, it is ephemeral, it will go by the side. Okay. So dear brothers and sisters, I'll even go to this extent and tell you, just look at your own roles in the organization, right? Everything is impermanent. If I think I will be a bhajan singer for all my life, impermanent. Okay, if I think every day I will go to Kulwant Hall and sit, impermanent, because the time will come when I will not be able to go. I will be physically unable to go. Right? What else is impermanent? Me being state coordinator, or me being a youth coordinator, absolutely impermanent. Right? So constantly when you keep thinking, look at your personal and professional lives. Right? Look at the organizations where you work. Who is permanent over there? Your colleagues are permanent. Is your boss permanent? Are your deadlines permanent? Is your work permanent? Nothing is permanent. Then what is permanent? Think about it. Okay, that is what Swami is telling us. Who are you? Who is that I which is experiencing all of this? That is the permanency. This same I is one who is having a personal life, who is having a professional life, who is having a organizational life. That is who you really are. That is permanent. So smara nitya anityata. Right? So if we are able to constantly have this as our formula, right? Run away from bad company. We defined what is bad. Anything that does not take me towards God is bad, right? And anything which takes me towards God is good, and therefore that is good company. And then having got into good company, constantly help others, serve others, and even while serving others, keep contemplating on what is permanent, what is impermanent. Right? So this is something that Swami is first talking about, good company. Second, Swami is talking about food. Okay, so why is food so important? Today, a lot of scientific analysis and a lot of scientific research is going into the fact that we are in fact what we eat. Okay, we are simply what we eat. Now, I'll just bring it back to what we were saying, bhavam, right? So the black box is the mind, the output is the bhavam. So one of the inputs is good company. The second input, we are talking about the second input, which is food. That's the second input, because Swami would often say, Jaisa anna, vaisa man, which means, how is my food? That is how my mind will be. Think about it. This entire body and our mind is nothing but, what is it? From where does it get its energy? From where does it get its sustenance? It gets its sustenance from the food that we eat, literally and figuratively, isn't it? You eat rubbish. What is going to come out? It is absolutely, what they call garbage in, garbage out, right? Gigo. Okay, you put garbage in, that is what is going to come out, and therefore, Swami simply, gives us this one formula for the food we eat is moderation. Be moderate about everything that we intake, anything it may be. It may be, for example, you will say that, oh, certain fruits are very good. That also in moderation. Let everything be in moderate. Simply by making your diet, I'm talking about physical diet, just moderate, you will come to know a lot of you will actually start seeing changes in the way you think. And that is why Swami would always tell us, avoid non-vegetarianism, because we are actually eating something which has emotions. You understand one thing, plants have life, but they don't have emotions. Whereas animals whom we are eating are having emotions, and therefore their emotions are directly influencing our emotions. Yet bhavam is emotions and feelings. Yet, right? So yet bhavam, however is your bhava, that is what is going to happen. You eat animal, that is who you will become. Very, very simple correlation. And you will find that today, the whole drive towards veganism and vegetarianism is catching up like wildfire across the world. Today, it is not difficult to tell somebody that, I'm a vegetarian. Some of the biggest athletes, someone like Virat Kohli, I mean, sorry for taking that kind of a name, but let us say he is one of the best, in whatever he does. That's the name that immediately comes to my mind. A whole lot of people it's now been proven that you simply by being vegetarian, your entire life can change. Once again, that's the second input. And the third input is faith in God. So if you look at these three, and I don't need to talk about faith in God, I will just, kind of conclude, and then maybe we could have a few question answers if that's okay. I'll just conclude with one story on faith in God. And this is a story which is very, very dear to my heart, and I constantly keep reminding myself about faith in God. Back in the days in the 1980s, there was not the kind of gram seva that happened in the years from 2000 onwards, where students would go every year into the villages. But in 1980, 85, I think Swami's 60th birthday it was. And so Swami had asked the students to go into a village to serve in and around Puttaparthi. And after the students came back, Swami asked them, how was the seva? How did you find the seva? And they said, Swami, it was brilliant, it was beautiful. And Swami said, where did you go? And they said, Swami, we went to this village called Janakampalli, which is very near Puttaparthi. And Swami said, oh, you went to Janakampalli. And then Swami asked, did you meet Radha Krishnamma over there? Now they were quite, they were not prepared for this. Radha Krishnamma, who's Radha Krishnamma? They kept looking at each other. They said, no, Swami, we don't know who is Radha Krishnamma. And then Swami started describing, that as soon as you enter into the village, on the first right hand side, that last house on that lane, the students were still not able to place who's that Radha Krishna. Then Swami said, when you went to the village, one lady came out with ragi ball with nice ghee on top of that. She offered it to you. Do you remember that? Ah, yes, Swami, yes, Swami. One lady had actually offered, the students had gone to do seva, but in fact they were done seva for, by this Radha Krishna. So they said, ah, yes, Swami. And then Swami said, ah, that lady, who gave you this Ragi Mutta, she is Radha Krishna. Oh, okay, okay. And then Swami said, do you know this Radhamma? Do you know what she does? No, Swami, no idea. See, this students have gone for Gram Seva, but Swami is giving a report on what, what is actually going on in the village. Swami said, do you know what she does? No, Swami. Then Swami said, Radhamma is the midwife of the village. So we all know what is a midwife, right? Most of these villages don't have hospitals for delivery where the women can go, pregnant women can go and deliver. And so there are, these trained midwives who will help with the delivery. And so Radhamma used to actually do this delivery. And so, Swami, okay. And then Swami makes a phenomenal point. You know what Swami says? Swami says, Radhakrishna Ma is the world's best midwife. Just imagine getting authentication directly from Swami. Okay, the direct stamp of the ultimate, ISO certification 9000, the best midwife in the world. Swami has anointed her and given her certification. Oh, okay, Swami, that's wonderful. Swami doesn't stop there. Swami says, did you know there are thousands of pediatric and gynecologist doctors? Radhamma is better than all of them. My God. Okay, so now this was getting even more. Then Swami said, there are thousands of nurses around the world. Radhamma is better than all of them. Okay, so, all the boys were just simply looking at Swami, and Swami had this, such heavenly bliss on his face while describing Radhamma. So everybody was wondering, oh, what a blessed devotee. Swami is talking so much about her. And then Swami says, do you know why she is the best? Of course, there were some stupid students, probably like me, who will be thinking, Swami simply pumping, Swami likes to pump some devotees. He will pump. There is no reason or season for him to, appreciate her. That doesn't mean that she's really the best, right? According to our scientific brains, why will some lady from Janakampalli, why will she be the world's best midwife, right? But Swami then went on to say, do you know why she is the best in the world? No, Swami. And then Swami, this is the punchline. Huh? Swami says, because Radhamma is the best midwife in the world because before every delivery that she does, before she enters into the room, for a moment she closes her eyes and she says, Swami, you please come into me and you perform this delivery. And the moment she prays like this, that you, Swami, perform this delivery, I take over from her, and when I do something, it has to be the best. And therefore, Radhamma is the best midwife in the world. Brothers and sisters, each and every one of us have the opportunity to be the best in whatever we do. And that comes with this faith that whatever we will do, Swami will do it through us. If we are able to have this one exercise that we can do, this one constant exercise that we can do, and dear brothers, please, sisters, remember, when I'm talking, I'm not going to talk only about the Satyasai organization. Because your lives, maybe only 1 or 2 hours in the entire day is spent in the organization, right? A large chunk of your life is your personal life, is your professional life. What Swami is telling us that take me, don't try to divide that this is my spiritual life and this is my non-spiritual life. No, make me and take me into each and every activity of yours and you will be the best. You will be the best. Right? That is the divine assurance Swami is giving us. And each one of us have that, that opportunity that has been given to us by allowing Swami to enter into our lives. Allowing in the sense, he has definitely decided to enter into our lives and we cannot be more blessed than that. But now allow him to start working through each and every act of mine, each and every thought of mine, each and every word of mine. If we are able to do that, definitely that will lead us to divinity. That is why all we need to do is this fundamental thing of yat bhavam tat bhavati. What is the input that is going to go into my mind, which will create that bhavam? As brothers, you said right in the beginning that unconditional love, or whether it is the Atman, how do we constantly bring that into our day-to-day life? Is to allow Bhagwan to do everything that we are going to do. Right? Make him a part and parcel and make him the center of your lives. That is our prayer. If we are able to do this one spiritual fundamental thing, we will attain divinity. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts and to once again read this beautiful discourse. And once again, I pray to Swami to bless you and your families with protection, with guidance, with lots of health.
Om Tat Sat Shri Narayana Tu Purushottama Guru Tu Siddha Buddha Tu Skandha Vinayaka Savita Pavaka Tu Brahma Mazda Tu Yadva Shakti Tu Eshutita Prabhu Vishnu tu Rama Krishna tu Rahimata tu Vasudeva go Vishwarupa tu Chidananda Hari tu Advitiya tu Akala Nirbhaya Atmalinga Shiva tu Atmalinga Shiva tu Atmalinga Shiva tu
ओम जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी सत्य साई हरे भक्त जना संरक्षक भक्त जना संरक्षक पति महेश्वरा ओम जय जगदीश हरे शशिवदना श्रीकरा सर्वा प्राणपते स्वामी सर्वा प्राणपते आश्रित कल्पलतिका आश्रित कल्पलतिका आपद्बान्धवा ॐ जय जगदीश हरे मातपिता गुरुदैवमु मरियन्तयु नीवे स्वामी मरियन्तयु नीवे नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नागेन्द्रशयना ॐ जय जगदीश हरे ओंकार रूप ओजस्वी साई महादेवा सत्य साई महादेवा मंगल आरती अंधुको मंगल आरती अंधुको मंदर गिरिधारी ओम जय जगदीश हरे नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा। शांति शांति शांति। समस्त लोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु। समस्त लोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु। समस्त लोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु। शांति शांति शांति। जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा